Neverending Chain by Dragon Translator. Chapter 115. Plans all around.
Ah, Buck, my favourite of all the islands in the archipelago. Chief Stoic, I must ask, has your son tamed more dragons? I spent ages waiting under the gaze of 4 squadrons and 3 tide gliders until the young lad on the Nightmare was able to call them off. Let me tell you, it was such a harrowing experience. Not unlike the time I met the king of Johann,
Stoic said, knowing if he did not stop the trader right then, no one would be able to get a chance to speak.
Did you see any ships as you travelled here?
Johann blinked and stood straighter.
As a matter of fact, I did. Such a marvellous invention your son made, Chief Stoic. That spyglass has saved this weary trader so many times I could regale you for days. You must be proud of your son, dear Chief. He is such a blessing to me and the whole of my career. Yes, Stoic said, smiling. I am very proud of my son. But I must know. The ships. What ships did you see? Oh my, yes. Well, as I crossed the open waters between freezing to death and Berg, I saw them. They were slinking in and around the sea stags, like a roving band of wolves seeking an easy kill. Master Hiccup's spyglass once again came in to my rescue and kept me from being their kill. It reminds me of the time... Johann, what be the symbol on those ships? Why, it was the outcasts.
Stoic groaned, then growled.
You best be heading out, Johann. Alvin be coming here. Oh, and not what do you, to be caught in the fight. No, I would not like that. Thank you, Chief Stoic. You and your son are always looking out for this poor trader. 'Tis why Burke is my favourite port of call. I believe I shall head to Hopeless early. Will you give this message to Chick Ingvar for me? I'll pay you when you return. Of course, Chief Stoic. I know you will best those scallywags. I shall return in a few weeks, then. Sadly, that will be my last call upon this great island until spring. The icy wind is getting to be too much for my old bones.
Stoic nodded his head and handed the man the rolled and tied piece of parchment. Stoic had no way to know if his message would be received well, or even acted upon. But Hopeless held treaty with Berg. They were bound by oath to fight for Berg against all threats except dragons, as all islands in the archipelago fought them during the war, and had no way to rush to each other's defence. Alvin, though, was not a dragon. Still, Hopeless was one of the tribes coming in the spring to discuss the dragons now living on Berg. Stoic could well see the Hopeless chief declaring the treaty null and void due to those dragons. Stoic hoped Ingvar would honour his ancestors' oath. He knew every dragon in the nest would defend it with their dying breath, but it never hurt to have several more Vikings to also fight. Those same Vikings could do as Padrig and Steiner had done, learn that the dragons were not vicious, mindless killers, and hopefully give Berg another on their side, what with the thing rolling around. We do, Knowledge began. Understand, Alpha, Wisdom finished. Protecting the nest comes before anything, Stormfly added. Hiccup sighed, partially in relief, as the other adults echoed her and the Zibbleback's statements. As soon as the sun rose, Hiccup, Astrid and Gita had gathered all of the adults in the cave before they could go out fishing or the hatchlings could be let out. Hiccup then explained their fears over Alvin attacking the island when they were gone. Hiccup knew that he should not have been surprised the mated dragons. Even the 4 that had joined the nest earlier that week felt this way. Just like Vikings, dragons jealously and viciously guarded their homes and their flocks when allowed to. Hiccup heard a questioning chirp from one of Meatlug's hatchlings and realised one part of his nest would not understand what was going on. At least, not right now. To the hatchlings, the human alpha they had heard so much about had been a source of play and stories and loving scratches. Their future queen and a human elder they had also heard about, giving equal time, attention and love. The hatchlings had no concept of danger, and less concept of a fact that their nest had to be defended. They would only see their alpha, their future queen, and an elder leaving. Having felt what it meant to be abandoned, Hiccup did not want the hatchlings to feel the same. Hiccup tilted his head, staring at Knowledge and Wisdom.
When do you think you will all be returning?
If it was longer than a week or so, then maybe he, Astrid and Gita could return after the nest sent Alvin scurrying back to Outcast Island. It would mean missing Snoggletog, but Hiccup had not really celebrated that holiday, even before Rough and Tough's prank landed him in the forge and unable to decorate, or participate in anything the holiday offered. The other teens and children could recall gifts given to them by Odin. Hiccup could only recall the small hammer Gobber gave him on his 3rd year being Gobber's apprentice. Hiccup glanced at Astrid, resolved to let her and Gita stay and enjoy the holiday, while he returned as the alpha of the nest to the hatchlings. He would not keep Astrid from her family once they got back. Gita also needed to be in her grandkids' lives, and without Astrid going along, she would not be needed as the human chaperone. Hiccup blinked, pulled from his musings, as the adults looked between them and each other, and then as one turned to Toothless. His dragon brother's sensing lobes lifted as Knowledge and Wisdom began what sounded like a serious question in the common tongue. You want me to convince him to do what? Toothless question, sounding both scandalised and proud at the same time. Knowledge and Wisdom both sighed. Hiccup bit his lip as both eyes rolled. All the nest dragons appeared to have spent too much time with Shadowfire, it seemed. First the wing shrugs, and now the eye rolls. Hiccup wondered just what other human traits the Western dragon would teach the rest of the dragon nest.
Alpha, Knowledge began. We all stand, Wisdom continued, as one in this. Knowledge added. We return with you, Wisdom finished. But the hatchlings, there will be danger. We discussed our return before Stormfly went after you, Alpha, Windwalker said. We all want to be home. And that you believe it to be in danger, we want to be home even more. It is our nest, Alpha. We want to defend it. The hatchlings can stay in that cavern you had Elder Ringfire create.
And one parent will remain with them while the other fights for the nest, Wingblaze stated.
To ensure no hatchling is completely orphaned should anything happen,
Boulder added.
Brother?
Toothless said slowly. The only way you'll get them to stay now is to order them. Hiccup sighed and turned to Astrid and Gita. He did not want the hatchlings in danger, but he also did not want to tell the adults they could not defend their home. Viking parents defended their homes, even with screaming infants shuffled to the tribe's old place to keep non-combatants, which, oddly enough, was that jut of land no dragon would tread across, and no woodcutter would take a tree from. The legend held that Odin claimed it for his own, and protected it. Hiccup would not make this decision without the counsel of 2 out of a very select few people he trusted the most. In the tale I know of, Hiccup, they came back with you, if that helps your decision. There wasn't the threat of war, though, but they still came back with you. I say we take them home, Hiccup. They have the right to defend their home, and the right to decide to bring their hatchlings to come to that home as well. We don't stop people in the tribe from fighting, even after they have children. So we really can't stop them. Hiccup frowned. He turned to Toothless, who nodded his head. It is a risk, but they have the right, brother. You fought to give them that right. Hiccup turned back to Gita. Did the tale you know show how I got the hatchlings that can't fly back to Berg? Gita grinned. Yes. Yes, it did. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed this one. I love this. The nests all coming together. And by the way, I said quite a few chapters ago that Johan was villainous. I've only recently been reinformed of what that means. He was working for Drago the entire time. Though, admittedly, a bit of an inconsistency there. How did Drago not know about Hiccup and his dragons if Johan was one of his informants? Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.